Thank you so much for joining us on the What's Trending. I am Moses Omogana. So today we kick off with issues of drug possession. Now, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on Tuesday night stormed the headquarters of Arik Air in Ikeja, Lagos, following the arrest in London of a crew member of the airline for alleged possession of cocaine. The Arik crew member, as identified by the NDLEA, goes by the name Chika Egwu Udensi. Here he is. He was arrested on Monday night by operatives of the United Kingdom Border Force with 20 kilograms of cocaine worth 350,000 pounds or 105 million naira in conversion. The NDLEA agents were said to have searched Udensi's latest Range Rover parked on the airline's premises. Arik spokesman, Adebanji Ola, confirmed the visit by the NDLEA's operatives. Udensi was arrested at the London Heathrow Airport shortly after an Arik Air flight arrived in London, which was coming from Lagos. And of course, interestingly, Udensi's arrest is said to be barely 2 years after two crew members of the Arik Air were similarly nabbed by the UK force border in London. Investigations are ongoing at the moment. Now, going online about this story, Valentine N. Ebuna says, so unfortunate. Guess the dude is tired of receiving mere pay and opted to go for an adventure that would fetch him a larger chunk. Money is indeed the root of all evil, he says. And Anonymous says, I have never trusted most air hosts and hostesses. Kodak Emerson says, what a shame. The European Union has banned importation of Arik produce from Nigeria. Maybe they will soon ban Nigeria air carriers. Anonymous also says, why do people still keep taking these risks? On top of losing his job, he's going to spend maybe 10 years in prison because of 2.7 kilogram of cocaine waiting in a hotel in family. Royal Priesthood says, if found guilty, he should be punished accordingly so that this will serve as deterrent to others. Wow, it's interesting how a lot of people are already passing judgment. Now, let me raise these thoughts to you. Just because someone was found in possession of cocaine doesn't mean that he meant to possess cocaine. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, because sometimes these people could be, someone could be a victim, of someone who's actually trying to, sell across the cocaine into, across border. But let's let the NDLEA do their job and let proper investigations, reveal, who's guilty, if he's actually guilty, in the sale of the hard drugs. Now, moving away from this of course takes us from drugs to a bizarre story. Now, as you can see in this picture here, people trying to break into a coffin. That's because a dead teenager woke up in her coffin and screamed for help 24 hours after she was buried. Freaky, innit? Now, technically, that means that she was buried alive, or so to speak. But sadly, she died again before desperate relatives could even save her, as evident in this photo. Grieving family members pictured above, pictured here actually, breaking through the concrete tomb from where Nancy Perez, 16, there she is, was actually heard banging and screaming, trying to come out from her grave. Nancy Perez, age 16, who was thought dead and buried, was heard screaming and banging her coffin a day after she was buried. When her family members broke into her graveyard to rescue her, they found that the glass-viewed window on the coffin had been smashed and the tips of her finger were being bruised, suggesting, of course, that she was trying to break out. But despite efforts to revive her, medics found no sign of life, and she was later returned to the cemetery and reburied in the same graveyard. Now, in the video that we have, you can see Perez's relatives breaking open her grave to effect the rescue and even try to provoke a heartbeat by mounting pressure on her chest. And after that, Perez is being taken to a room where we see family members saying some prayers with the Bible and perhaps anointing oil, as well as paramedics also checking her pulse and trying to revive her or bring her back to life, so to speak. But sadly, to no avail. And of course, few reactions about this story online. Oluwakemi Abosede says, horror film, it's the fault of the doctors. They have to be sure before declaring someone dead. Good news for the parents. Well, I'm not so sure if this is good news for the parents, especially when, she eventually died. Now, Royal Priesthood also says, Lord save us from untimely death. There must have been real mix-up that they have made them conclude that she was dead. Meanwhile, she was not dead when she was buried. Rest in peace to her. Anonymous says, what a terrible way to die. Incompetence of the medical staff. May her soul rest in peace. Eddie Decency says, wonder shall never end. This is how the witch doctor ended this pretty girl's life. Nonsense. And Chigwe David says, Lazarus syndrome gone wrong. Hashtag my humble opinion. That's a very interesting way of expressing the story. But really, you know, background information about this, Perez was actually, you know, she said to have suffered from, you know, a panic attack, and she was actually 3 months pregnant when this happened. When they rushed her to the hospital, you know, 3 hours later, she was, you know, pronounced dead by the hospital, by the doctor. But before that, you know, a local priest was actually called, you know, to revive her. In fact, he was assumed that she was being possessed by an evil spirit, and the priest was trying to exorcise her. In other words, trying to, you know, possess her off, you know, the evil spirit that was claimed. So the question is, could that probably be what was trying to bring her back to life? Well, it's a freaky one, really, and I don't know, but mysteries still happen, I have to say. You might think that this is a horror movie, but it's actually happened, and of course, we have a video as proof. And before we call it a wrap on the What's Trending, Kanye West to receive one of the greatest awards of all times. Kanye West has actually created some of the most memorable and spectacular moments in MTV VMA history. And on the 2015 show on August the 30th, he will be receiving the 2015 Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Awards. Kanye will also be honored for his career-spanning, groundbreaking videos, legendary VMA performances, and continued impact on music, art, fashion, and even culture. No wonder they called the awards Michael Jackson Vanguard Award, strictly for legends. Thumbs up to him. And with that, it's a wrap on the What's Trending. If you have issues that trend in your local community, please feel free to tweet at me with the Twitter handle at Moses TVC News or with the hashtag What's Trending. We would definitely love to hear from you. Many thanks for watching. I'm Moses Mogana, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye for now.